Welcome to Tire Foam Gaming. This channel is all about creative builds,
Here you have some light
useful
180
tips,
times 4 is 720.
and the occasional "what was I thinking" moment.
I might have done that wrong. So is this a splitter? Yeah.
Subscribe and let's see where this goes.
Tire foam cans at it again with some more Satisfactory, and just kind of figuring out what I want to do for this part here. I was thinking about using my same blueprints for my aluminum production here and these refineries, but I kind of want to change them to be the same color as what the water extractors are and this train station is, and maybe do something even a little bit different, just because these are all power and polymer over there. So this might be something different, more of like this red oxide kind of color. I want to expand this all the way out to be all of my aluminum, because if I look at like aluminum scrap, right, I need coal in order to make my aluminum scrap, and I get water out of it, and then I'm gonna make my aluminum ingot. But I am getting silica as a byproduct of my alumina solution, so I'm gonna see how much I'm gonna get out of this and how much I'm going to consume. But I want to get all the way to producing all of my aluminum ingots right in this little pathway in this part of my clear stream logistics in this whole water area. First step, I'm going to just modify this blueprint, or maybe make a whole new one and make it more of this red color. Well, this is what I've come up with for my 4X refinery building. It's kind of blocky, I think. Maybe I can still do some other stuff to it. Just adding in some details around the windows and stuff like that. But some of the stuff inside is kind of neat, and these different overhangs that I have. So like inside I have these curved inverted quarter pipes that go into a painted beam, and then this would be a walkway that you can see your refineries and get close enough to configure them. And underneath that is where you have all of your different, like the logistics, the piping and the conveyors and stuff. And that is illuminated by a light. Just a light that goes right along this beam. And then I also went ahead and put one of those same walkways in the middle and made it like a catwalk, like just so you can get from one side to the other. Same thing on the other side too, just like that. And then the top is clipping into the refinery and letting the smokestack come out from the top, with the same kind of thing I did on the other refineries, with the status lights coming out from the top too, just to give some more lighting for it. And then lighting wise, on this side I have wall-mounted flood lamps, just 2 of those, and then over on this side I decided to go with 3 street lamps, just for a little bit different. And then since this is a Mark II, it's 5 wide, so I am going to make a spacer that would go in between these, that's 1 foundation wide, just to give another look for like this window that would be in here, or even a door that would allow access to get into this whole building. And I'm gonna start hooking these up, and let's start making some aluminum. Well, I think that's pretty okay. It's a little different with 2 layers like this, but I think with my train station being up here, I can just crash a little foundation into the walls and then make part of this like a doorway to get in right into it at this level. And then once you're in here, this connection worked out pretty well, I think. You can run along here. These lights are really bright, but if they were down a little bit lower, this is like this kind of eerie red area, and I think it looks pretty sweet. And then once you get down underneath here, you have some light to really show it off and be able to access all of your different conveyor systems and just see the product moving through. So I think this is pretty cool, and I'm gonna continue with it. I'll have to make an end cap over on this side, just like a face for the building. And the one thing that's just, it's a little bit different, and I'm not sure, I might do something different with this is that it's very blocky and concrete-like, where all of this over here is more yellow and fix-it wall-like. So I'm even considering putting like a fix-it wall face on this too, so that it doesn't look too out of place from the rest of this whole area. I think adding in that red wall on the outside makes it blend in a little bit better to the rest of the whole plan over here. The concrete was just kind of standing out. I like having these concrete black pillars in here. I think that adds a lot of character and depth to this, and then having the windows in, and then I went ahead and added in this automated gate too. And then inside, just keeping it all as concrete, I think will be okay, because once you're inside, it's a different situation. So I've got room to add in at least one more of these here, and then I'm gonna keep this wreckage here as just a reminder of other pioneers that have come here and failed miserably. And then over on this side, I'm gonna make some more refineries, probably just the same building, because I have to make this goes to alumina solution, and then this will be then refined into aluminum scrap with coal, and I'll get the water back out and send that all the way back down that way. Well, I made some changes. I wasn't really liking how the refineries were sprawling out in a line that way, so I'm making them go back some more. And I can do a couple of different buildings this way. Like this one would be for my alumina solution. And then I think I'll have another building out over this way, and I might even bring it up higher if I can't really get it to fit in with this whole area here, or I wanted to leave this out here for fun. So this is what I came up with. I have basically this little box. There's two different buildings. I've got some big doors here. I've got some moving small billboards here that look pretty cool. And then just right inside, there's a light that welcomes you into all the overall refineries. And then everything else is about the same kind of lighting, the street lights on the one side, and then the wall-mounted lights on the other side. And then at the end, I'll have another section here to cap this off. Yeah, getting down into the basement, there's a ladder right here, and I'm still terrible at getting on and off ladders. And then I have this access to get over here. Well, I guess I don't really have a great way to get down into this part of the basement. And then the access over here, I just want to go up the ladder to get into my logistics area. So I was also having some weird issues because if I do alumina solution in one of these refineries, it takes 180 water per minute and 120 bauxite per minute. So that's a full Mark IV belt with where I'm at now. And I would have to have some other underground logistics to serve the longer one too, if it's running that way instead of at a 90-degree angle to my train station. So this way I can feed everything in through right here instead of having to go through and make a different underground layer, because I just don't have the space over as I continue on down that way. Unless I put these up high, which is another option I'm considering. And I think it'd be okay, because then I would have my stuff coming out of my freight platforms here, the bauxite and the coal, and it would come out right here, and these would just be up one level higher. I would probably, though, have to do some pumps for my water, which isn't the end of the world. And then I can even just go over all of this. And I think these then would be tall enough where I could still make this like a shrine for this poor pioneer that crashed. Well, I've got my setup kind of pretty much how I want to do it. I ended up bringing all my aluminum up one level, and I have room then for another building over here. So this one has 8. That'll be for my alumina solution. And then this one will be for aluminum scrap to be made. And then I only need 2.5. I've got room for 8 over there, so I've got plenty of room for expansion. Then I can also expand out this way too. If I wanted to cover that up, I could do that. So I just need to make sure I have room for some foundries to do the aluminum ingots and send those on the way. See if Bean gets run over. He was standing on the train on the railway, and one train came through and just picked him up and took him way down there, and now he's back. So I'm just gonna watch him for a minute. Well, one thing I need to do is switch these around. I don't have a mirrored refinery building set up. I just have to switch these around because the delivery of my materials is coming in from back there, and I'd rather have it come from this side of the building, and this is where all of my train station is at, so I want to have this come in down through here somewhere, and then have that just be delivered down at that level. So I am still trying to figure out how to use ladders, but I'm just going to switch these around just like so. Hopefully it won't be too bad. Wait, was that a merger? Did I just do this wrong? Let me see. I might have done that wrong. So is this a splitter? Yep, that's the wrong side. So that was coming out correct. That's where the silica and the alumina solution are going to come out. So I'll just have to redo those. Not a big deal. And also, all of my pipes need to be Mark IIs because I have 480 alumina per minute coming out. So these main ones need to, I'm stuck, need to be Mark II, and I believe water does too. So then water, I'm going to be consuming 180 per minute, and so 180 times 4 is 720, which that's an issue because this can only supply 600 for my Mark II pipes. So, oh boy. All right, well, I'm gonna have to figure out how to split that up, I guess. I'm gonna run a pipe from the back two refineries to the back of the building right into there, and then the front is going to be in the front of the building, so I'll have 2 MK2 pipes coming in, and then one pipe is feeding 2 refineries here, and the other pipe is feeding the other 2 refineries there. 120, so 540 divided by 120 is 4.5, just to power that 1/2 of the building of 4. This seems weird. I don't remember what my numbers are for the water extractors. I'm kind of getting lost in the math here, but alright, so just to make this a little bit easier on the math, each one of those refineries needs 180 of water. So I'm going to overclock each one of these by 150%, and that'll give me 180. So 1 will provide 1 for that, so I need 4. All that water is going to end up coming back once I do the aluminum scrap and come back this way. So I'm going to do this in phases just to get half of that building running with these 4. I don't know why I have so many water pumps. Actually, I know I have 8. I planned for these just to be at 120 and not overclock, so I needed 7.5 to do all of this. Since I would have to split off the water in different ways and balance it, I think it's just in my best interest just to make these at 180. Alright, well, I've got my water running. Let's see if we need to put any pumps in. We got water here, a little bit here. We might need to put pumps here. Seems like it's a little, maybe, let's see if this is starting to fill up. Alright, that's starting to fill up. That one's starting to go, but I'm assuming I'm gonna need pumps like right in here. Yeah, see, this is not really getting anything. So let's throw a couple of pumps in down here, and I guess I'll be using Mark II pumps. this foundation area. And I think I'll have these far enough apart where I can put both of these together. Alright, so now these are running. I don't see anything really clipping anywhere. That looks pretty cool. So now we got good flow running through here, and then the other one is way down this way. And that one is flowing well too. I got a small little issue here. So my normal style of having half the solution come in from the back, like I'm doing the water on the other end, and the other half come in the front, isn't really gonna work great over here because that's the beach. I'm going to run a couple of pipes then down the middle right here, and then send them down into the floor, probably about right here. I think that will work good. Yeah, I think that works pretty well. So I got these two pipes coming up through the floor, and then they run all the way down here and into the end of the building. And once you're inside the building, it's just a little strange because there's a missing foundation here. So I thought about maybe putting some kind of wall in here or something, and then putting another wall hole into this, and there'd be like a place behind that too. And now we're gonna put in hook up this piping to run my alumina solution. I already have coal going in, and then I'll have water coming back out, and I'll have aluminum scrap going down into that conveyor lift, which will just go down into here. Alright, we are making some aluminum scrap. Alright, until next time, be sure to like and subscribe, and let's have some fun together building Satisfactory craziness.